All right, welcome back. Let's talk about timing in this video. It's timing is going to be the most crucial thing. In the markets, we might be coming up on the largest, like, one in a lifetime opportunity, to be honest, guys. So timing is going to be crucial, not just to possibly profit biggest possible massive way you could ever imagine, but it's also going to be very crucial in what you do so you survive and thrive, right? First of all, this is not financial advice. This is more of an educational channel. Consult your licensed financial advisor before doing anything. Stocks, currencies, everything extremely volatile, extremely risky. Do not invest in anything you're not willing to lose or lose sleep over. This is, I'm just giving you guys my opinion. I could be completely wrong. All right. Let's talk about, first of all, 35% off, because I understand people need to prep, and I think it's appropriate for this time. All you have to do is go to my website, add it to your cart. You use the link below this video in the description section. I also posted it in the newsroom. Add it to your cart. Read the disclaimers, all of the disclaimers. You have to click on the I accept all terms and conditions. There's 2 buttons. And you have to click this apply discount code and you get 35% off. That's for the initial journal report, and then you'll get an invitation email inviting you, and it's $10 a month for the private group where you guys could watch me trade, and then there's a bunch of people in there, over 80 of us I think, and we share information, all kinds of stuff, you know. Survive and thrive. So yeah, take advantage of that if you're interested, because I really do think we're coming up on a possible correction like we've never seen before. So this was Friday. Asian markets were actually selling off. The US markets, they sold off a little bit, but not really. This is a 3-day weekend. I believe it's President's Day Monday, and markets will open Tuesday. Now, we see a little more in the mainstream news about the NCOV, right? So maybe investors and traders will take this 3-day weekend to do a little research about it. And maybe just enough of them may realize that this is going to be way more serious than, you know, the mainstream is making it out to be. So timing. Listen, again, I 10x these numbers. 10 times these numbers is probably the more realistic to what's, because there's no testing. There isn't testing really being done yet. Not even in the West all that much. I mean, they can test, but it's not like the hospitals have the kits. Do you understand? So by the time they get someone, that person's probably had it for a few weeks, maybe even a month, and there's probably 100 more coming right after them. And then so on and so on. Now, check this out. This is really cool. Don't worry, I'm going to go into charts, and we're going to take a look at a few things. So here's that prediction software, and there's an update to it. This is very, very cool, guys. It's awesome. This is open source, so a bunch of people are actually working on this, And, you know, this isn't going to give you real, you can't really go off of this too much because there's so many unknowns and variations. You don't know which countries will take some serious measures, right? Like China, and which ones won't. But you could plug in the data right here, and you guys can screenshot this. This is what I plugged in, and this is what I got. This will be in the newsroom. I posted the video. He gives you an entire like 20-minute tutorial on how to use this and everything. But look, so by the beginning of March, I am expecting total infected anywhere from 1 to 2 million. That's globally, right? And then you'll get the rest of the numbers and all that. Now, I believe, so this is what I'm personally doing, but this is different for everyone, okay? It depends where you live. It depends if you live in the city or if you live like out on a farm, right? It's all about population density and whatnot. So preparation-wise, you should have masks and food, PPEs and food, right, by now. If you don't, I would do it in the next, as soon as possible, at least by the end of this month. And what I mean by food is you could buy like food that lasts like 10, 20 years. There's some good stuff out there that tastes good, and you could make meals and stuff with it. So by the end of this month, you need PPEs and food, because I feel like that's going to be the first to go. And then the beginning of next month, self-protection, and March, you want to really get your plans in order, get everything straightened away, get ready. Now, I'm thinking by March, sometime by the end of March and April, we're looking at, in the West, like Europe and the US, it was when the masses, the normies, are gonna, they're not gonna be able to ignore it and, cover it up or make it seem less urgent and serious in the mainstream, right? So, because by then we're looking at total infected 100 million. And that'll be, and here's the thing, there will be more and more outside of mainland, right? Now, so March, by the end of March, and hopefully by the beginning of April, you are ready to go, you're set. By May, I think it's going to be serious. Now, the markets are going to move quicker than the public, than the masses. When you're just driving around, you're walking around in your town or city. And I feel like the masses will be about a month late to reality, and the markets will be a month early. And obviously, of course, we are always a month, if not too early. So that's why I think, the correction, we're going to look at charts. It has to come soon. I'll talk about the market separately. All right. So I'm just talking about for your personal preparations. If you want to take this seriously, if you don't, I don't care. You chose your life. Now, for us that are taking this seriously, by the end of April and sometime in May, I think, the masks will be gone. You're going to start seeing emptier and emptier shelves. the global supply chain, it's completely broken. Like 70% or something crazy of things in like Walmart and many stores in the US, they come from China. And you're going to see shortages like physically in the stores. I say by probably, I don't know, guys. I don't know exactly how fast this will go, but you're definitely, the masks and all that, I give it like maybe 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks at the most. And then other things will start disappearing on the shelves, right? Towards, I would say, the end of April, beginning of May. And you might see people wearing masks possibly sometime in May. Now, the worst case scenario is like in 4 weeks from now, people are wearing masks. Like, I don't know how, because I can't anticipate what they will tell the public, right? I don't know how the control structure is going to put out an alert. I don't know how long they're going to suppress it or when they're going to just come out and say, all right, we need to do something. Like, everyone needs to start, but based off of numbers and people being affected physically, eventually you can't hide it. So obviously I'm not going off the data. Well, I am going off the data like that's coming out to the public, but I'm putting a 10x multiple on it. And that's what I put into my data here. Remember? That's what I put in here. And then, of course, the other data inputs. You guys are going to have to read that. Play around with it, all right? Screenshot it, and then share it in the chat groups with us, whatever you think. I did this real quick. I didn't put too much thought into it, but I put a decent amount. So I'm thinking you need to have your shit together by May. Beginning of May. Now, June, July, I think that's when all hell's gonna break loose. Like, people are going to realize that this is the masses, the normies are gonna wake up, and maybe by July, people might start. Everyone's gonna be locked down. Like, you can't leave your home, and you have to anticipate these things. If you want to get out of a city, you got to do it before they shut down the exits, right? And they're not going to announce it. They're not going to be like, all right, by the end of this week. No, it's going to be on the news the next day in the morning. You can't leave. So you want to have everything in order, your house in order, your plans, whatever, by the end of I say April to be sure. To be safe. Better safe than sorry. But obviously the other things, like buying things ahead of time, like you have to start doing that as soon as possible. Now, looking at the markets, well, before I look at the markets, here's another indicator we could look at for timing this. Like I said, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. These are, and Hong Kong. There's a guy who's videoing out of there, and I'm going to watch his channel. Because whatever happens here in these developed regions around China, right, is a good indication of maybe like 3 to 4 weeks prior to it happening in other regions of the world, right? Developed. Because you guys have to understand, don't look at this like, look how far Europe is, look how far the US is. A lot of students from mainland flew to the universities in the West, okay? So these are indicators of how crazy. So once these countries go and they're as hectic as mainland, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, once they're in full blown, you can't leave your home, They just went through everything that mainland China went through. At that point, you know we don't have much time. And at that point, the market will be correcting. At that point, not even the market and its utopia, tunnel vision, bias, juiced up on endless credit and cheap money, not even the central bankers are going to be able to prop it up. And especially if the trade, right? Like if 2 weeks from now, I guarantee you, if those ships that are all just, there's a bunch of ships right now, just not moving. They're just all idle around the major cities. They're not going anywhere. If nothing gets moving again, people don't go back to work in the engine of the world, because that's what China is. It's the engine of the world. Like if it doesn't happen within the next 2 weeks, which I'm pretty confident won't, the market can't ignore it whatsoever. And it doesn't matter what the central banks do. You can't paper over the physical reality of the economy is halted to a stop. There's no goods going back and forth. So, you know what I mean? Like you just... all right, so that's what to look for. All right, we're going to be looking at that. The yield curve, check this out. The 1 month is above the 10-year. It's completely inverted again. So usually when it happens for a second time, shit's gonna hit the fan. All right, it is predicted the last 7 recessions. All right. What else? I have an article I wanted to go over. Tyler Durden article. So the bad, the worse, the ugly, and the unthinkable. I will post this in the newsroom. I'm just going to brush over and read a little bit of it. So in a bad case scenario, right? It breaks out, does not last for beyond 1 quarter. China's GDP growth for 2020 could drop to below 5% with production taking the biggest hit and a catch up in quarter 3 and quarter 4. This is our base case scenario, although with the recent surge in mind, the second scenario is becoming increasingly likely. The worst scenario. It breaks out, lasts beyond quarter 1. In that case, China's GDP growth could end up below 4% in 2020. In this scenario, next to China, Asia will bear the brunt of the prolonged outbreak due to its dependence on China's as an export market and intermediate imports, as well as for tourism. And China itself defaults of non-financial corporates in China could start to rise rapidly. Listen, guys, the banks were in trouble in China way before this. I guarantee you this has already blown them up. It's just, you know, right now it's not in the news because it's not on people's minds. Right now it's just to physically survive this, right? This will lead to a decline in China's long-term growth potential as private companies will suffer most, while less efficient SOEs will likely be bailed out. As a result, debt levels will balloon further, leaving China more vulnerable in the future. There will also be downwards pressure in Chinese currency as extra... By the way, they're literally rounding up all cash and like burning it. Because they want to force everyone into a digital society. Because if everyone's forced into a digital society, 1, they know everything you do. 2, they can control you because it's just cut you off and you're just going to starve. And 3, you're stuck with inflation. Like, there's nothing you could do. Because they could prevent you from buying alternatives. I don't think any of that's going to work. At the end of the day, there's a lot more ants than crickets. And I think this is all, like... I feel like they're going to burn. Like, the entire country is going to burn down. I really do. Especially if they don't get this under control. This NCOV under control within the next probably 2 months. I mean, I don't know at what point they're going to run out of food, but they have to be, you know. And when people are hungry, they don't care. They'll do anything. Especially once they see everyone else. Well, once you get people in the crowds, the fear goes away, guys, and they just burn everything to the ground. And once they've lost people they know, family members, and they're hungry, all right? So the ugly scenario, it spreads beyond China and spreads to Asia as well as developed economies. Its effects will likely resemble global financial crisis of 2008-2009 more than the SARS outbreak in 2003. I think this is more likely than anything, the ugly scenario. Now my model, guys, before you panic, my model does show, because I put in I put in a burnout rate, because there's going to be a burnout rate, meaning all of the draconian measures and everyone locked in their homes will eventually burn it out. It's just going to come at the cost of imploding the entire global economy, in my opinion, because that's exactly what's going to happen. If no one's going to work and stuff, but I mean, some people will. I mean, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. The world's never seen anything like this. So if there's a burnout rate of, let's say, 20 to 25%, something like that, by the end of the year, I mean, the spread will actually stop. The economic fallout will be like no other. Like the worst case scenario, though. That's the problem. And there won't be going back to normal, probably for a very, very long time. It's massive civil unrest. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. That's why you got to prepare for everything and anything. All right. And, I feel sorry for the people who work service sector jobs, like if you're a stewardess, like that sucks. You gotta work with what the cards you're dealt with, and I can't tell you. You have to make your own decisions on what to do when, if you have vacation days when it starts getting crazy, you might want to use, I don't know. It's up to you. Everyone's personal scenario is different, right? And if you're in college, like, you have to think of all the places you go and how does it put you at risk. And there's more data coming out that makes you infertile. So I don't know if it's true. Like, everything take with a grain of salt, but it's so early in the game. I take everything seriously just in case it's for reals. And it's really that, and it's happening. So you might think, well, I'm young, I'll be fine. Well, there could be a second wave, a third wave, a fourth wave. It can mutate, make you infertile. I don't want to take risks. So I'm going to bug out. Yeah. But, we possibly have some time, right? A few months. And I want to make the most of it. So that's what the game plan is. For the next month, we take this day by day. For the next month, I'm going to try to make as much money as humanly possible off these markets. I'm going to leave nothing behind. And then you have to take some more appropriate measures, right? Just go buy some physical things and stuff like that if it looks like it's going to be really, really, really bad. All right. And I have some more insider info, but that's for private members. All right. So let's go to the charts. You know what? Before I go to the markets, I'm going to talk about BTC real quick. I put this arrow in when it was still up around 10,300. All right. All the miners that make the transactions and the scalability and the fees cheap, they're all shut down, aren't they? Or they will be if they're not. So, and that's just that. I gave you guys my opinion. I see a correction coming. I'm just warning you. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be completely wrong. But I'm just looking at the 200-day moving average and my blue equilibrium line. When these suckers cross, it's pretty bearish. And historically, it's been a good indicator of exactly that. When was the last time it crossed? This was the last time it crossed. I'm just showing you for your trading knowledge. Last time it crossed, it rallied into the cross like it usually does. That's what price action sometimes does. It actually likes to rally into death crosses, and then you get the huge correction. Obviously, this rally is pushed by the halvening and all that, right? All right. Here's S&P 500 monthly chart. This month, we're halfway through the month. It's the 16th. All right. This month is on a 9 sell TDI indicator. I think this one's going to definitely put in the all-time high. That's why I've been calling for an all-time high for the past month and a half, basically. Here's the last time it called a 9 sell on the monthly. Back here, it went a little higher, sold off. This was the dot-com bubble. This was the housing bubble. The second, hold on, let me zoom in. Okay, so this, you can see that, right? This is the first bubble here is dot-com bubble, NASDAQ. The second one is the housing bubble. Now, we did not get a 9 sell, but, you know, I have my heat map. I didn't, but it doesn't matter. Wait, yeah, I did. Hold on, let me zoom in. Well, we had an 8 count. It went up to an 8 count, and then it didn't put a 9 there. But, you know, you could pretty much put a 9 right there, all right? It doesn't matter. An 8 count was telling you to get ready for a 9 count sell, and you would have taken profits anyways. And it would have saved your ass on the monthly, right? Same with back here. It was maybe, let's say, 6 months too early, but rather be early than sorry. That's all I have to say. Because when these corrections come, the correction is always quicker. Because remember, staircase up, elevator down. Now this one, look at this move, guys, in the past 11 years. Now, this 9 sell right over here, at the end of 2018, was a perfect time to tell you to get out. I warned you guys then, too. We had a huge correction. A nice, I forgot, it was like a 20% correction. And then it V bottomed and rebounded. It was a V rebound, right? So, listen, it's going to happen soon. You can't ignore, even if everything became under control, they came up with a cure, it would still take 8 to like 18 months to actually be able to give it to everyone. Within that time frame, it's going to keep spreading. I believe. I'm not a doctor or scientist. And then the damage will be done before it's stopped. And from my models, which could be completely wrong, but from the way things are going, I think by like June, it's going to be very, very bad. So, and the market's going to anticipate prior to that. So you want to get ready for huge correction. And I know, guys, they're going to print, all right? And it might make it go higher, but it doesn't matter. You don't want to know why, because, I mean, your shorts might get wrecked. So we have to take this day by day. So you have to play stops. And I don't like outright shorting because your losses can be infinite. But I use options to short and inverse ETFs, right? You could also go long volatility like the VIX, but the VIX is very tricky. I mean, it's very quick moving. You have to be a day trader to catch those and get in and out. All right. But if you do catch this, I mean, you can make life-changing money. Either way, metals should go up. Here's the financials. I've shown you guys the last video. I mean, this is insanity. Insanity. Straight up. All the these are the large cap trillion-dollar companies. All right. This is unsustainable. I don't care how much they inject liquidity-wise. listen, guys, there's so much debt out there. And if there's literally, if the consumer starts to panic, Wall Street will as well. Okay? That's all it takes. Employers might start laying people off in anticipation of this coming, because they're going to need to raise cash to survive this. So the reality can't be ignored for too long, especially if this thing keeps spreading. All right? Once everyone's got like something, a mask on their face, the markets can't ignore it. All right? They can't ignore the fact that there's no ships going back and forth with products. It's just unreal. It's unreal. It just shows you that we are at the final phase of euphoria in this bubble. We really are. Just wait until someone important catches this and passes away, right? And like I said, all it takes is one person in New York City to pass out. And there's a video, picture, and they're confirmed case. I think that'll set in panic. VIX is down. The dollar is just, it keeps rallying because the world is buying dollars. As China's market's going to fall, they're going to go into dollars as a knee-jerk reaction, safe haven thing. Metals are also catching a bid. The bond 10-year yield, of course, is all the way down, as I expected. Here's the major indices. They're all pegged, again, all oscillators pegged to completely overextended levels. And they're going to lose momentum and run out of volume. Moving averages, I mean, just the divergence, the spread between them is insane. I don't know how anyone on Wall Street could ignore this and just think this is going to go higher. They must be absolutely out of their mind, delusional. The only way Wall Street thinks this could go higher is they believe that the Fed is going to print trillions to keep it up and make it go higher. Like, because the stock market just keeps going higher, you think people are going to just think everything's okay as the hospitals get overran, as people start panicking and shelves start going empty and start hearing about this person, that person, my family member, schools, when the kids, right, all start coming down with symptoms. It doesn't matter what the Fed does, guys, in the end. Reality is going to win. The market, the free market, it's going to win. And when it does, it's going to be fast and it's going to be violent. Here's another reason why I think we're really, really coming up on this. Like, if it's not this week coming up, it's the week after, because the FANG index is on an 8 count on the weekly. So 9 count next week. So it's either next week or the week after. But once the FANG index goes down, it's going to take all the other index funds, all the pensions, everything with it. All right? Because like I said, everything's a cookie cutter. Everything's just crammed into these index funds that aren't managed by anyone. And all it takes is the algos to flip on sell. All it takes is enough speculators to sell, and then the algos flip. And, they're going to try to just inject paper into the markets to keep the algos from flipping red. It doesn't matter, because I'm looking at metals. And on the daily, gold and silver look ready to explode higher. They keep testing. Gold keeps testing 1,600. Right now it's at 1,586. I bet you when the market opens Tuesday, we're going to go test 1,600. And it's going to keep testing it until when it breaks above 1,600, we could see a moonshot. And then your miners are going to rally, and silver, once that thing breaks above, we need to see it make a new high above $20. It's game over. All the shorts are going to get squeezed. The commercials, open interest, which is at record highs above the total supply that's even made in an entire year. That's how you know it's a complete fraud. The manipulation will break as well. And then you might get a few weeks, maybe a whole month of just rallying. And that's that's what I'm hoping for, that I can hopefully bank on, and I'm going to take profits because it all depends on how bad this thing keeps spreading, right? So if it's the worst case scenario, right, then yeah, mining stocks aren't going to be, yeah, I don't want to be holding them either. And then I'm just going to move out of the stocks, take profits, and then go towards physical. But remember, these markets are going to stay irrational longer than they should, even in a breakout in a huge rally for metals and mining stocks. So that's what I'm hoping for. Now, of course, there could be other scenarios, right, where metals just crash with everything. That could happen. And in that scenario, I go to cash, look for some shorts, and then get out. And I don't know. Look at some physical before the shortages, happen for them as well, right? I don't know what's going to happen to the banking. There's going to be banking holidays, and if it keeps spreading, right, and it gets as bad as I think it's going to, I mean, by June, right, you might not be able to you'll be limited on how much you could get out at the bank. Listen, guys, I cannot predict how fast this is going to move and how bad it's going to get. I really can't. I'm just trying my best. And timing is going to be everything. And whoever could time this the best could walk away, not just unscathed health-wise, but you could walk away with some life-changing, opportunity here. But I can't make any promises. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off. I have no idea. That's why I'm hedging all my bets. I am everywhere, right? You want some cash, you want some physical, you want some stocks, you want to look at some shorting opportunities, you want to look at some long opportunities. As soon as there's a confirmed cure, if you could hop on that train, you might do really well, right? For that stock, for that company, that pharma company, right? All right, guys, so I'm going to leave you there. And, I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to try to make shorter videos. I'm going to pull back and stop talking about this situation, this health situation going on for about a week. I want to see how the next week and 2 weeks go. And then I could definitely get a better grip on timing and how serious this will really get. Either way, you want to get your PPEs if you haven't. That's my advice. It's my life advice. You could take that life advice. I'm pretty confident that you should at least have a few masks and goggles and some, gloves. All right, guys. Till next time. Hit them likes. Go to my website, 35% off, and leave anything in the comment section. If I'll comment if you have a legit question or a good comment or whatever, right? And then see you guys next time.